Kicking off your 7 o'clock hour with a live look outside. We are expecting warm and dry conditions today with extremely high winds. This means that we are in a red flag warning today, and this morning our team has issued a weather impact alert. Now, with these conditions today, Xcel is preparing for a possible planned power outage. The utility's latest map shows the shutoff could impact the West Metro area, a few areas southeast of Fort Collins as well, and then also between Loveland and Longmont. Xcel says that it could cut power beginning in 3 hours.
Because of the extreme wind, the National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for today. Forecasters say the lessons from the Marshall Fire are driving their decision making. The National Weather Service in Boulder now considers more factors when issuing red flag warnings after the Marshall Fire burned without one in place nearly 40 years ago. Meteorologist in charge Jennifer Stark says even though humidity levels today will be slightly above the typical 15% threshold, the combination of strong winds and dry fuel means dangerous conditions.
There's so many other factors that are going to be overwhelming that if a wildfire were to start, it's going to spread quickly, it's going to be hard to control, hard to contain.
Stark says the warning is a signal for communities to be prepared and avoid any outdoor activities that could start a fire.
And with wind being a main concern today, many school districts have canceled classes. That includes Jeffco Public Schools, Clear Creek School District, CU Boulder, and Vertical Skills Academy. Now, we do have team coverage for you this morning tracking these strong winds.
Our Keely Chalmers is live in Boulder this morning, where people there are expected to see the worst of the winds. How's it going out there now, Keely?
Well, I can tell you, it is like the definition of calm before the storm. It is chilly, but winds barely a breeze right now. Things, though, here in Boulder are expected to change later on this morning, this afternoon. Certainly, 11 o'clock this morning, a red flag warning goes into effect. We're talking about sustained winds here in Boulder. Sustained winds, 30 to 50 miles per hour. Winds gusting 70 to 80 miles per hour. I mean, we're talking about a destructive, potentially destructive wind event. We're across the street from CU, the CU campus right now. We're live at the corner of Broadway and Baseline. And this is one of those areas that Xcel Energy is potentially planning a planned power outage. They call it a public safety power shutoff. They're considering shutting down power preemptively to about 50,000 customers in Boulder, Jefferson, Clear Creek, Weld, as well as Larimer counties to prevent one of those power lines from sparking a wildfire. I mean, in conditions we're talking about this afternoon with those winds gusting 70 miles per hour, which is what we did see, those 70 mile per hour wind gusts in the Marshall Fire in December of 2021. If we do get those wind gusts again, it would only take a spark to cause a fast moving wildfire. So again, calm before the storm. This is the time for folks in these areas, these wind-prone areas, to gotta secure those loose items, plan for any type of power outage, whether a planned one or an unplanned power outage. This is the time to prepare. At 8 o'clock this morning, Xcel Energy will be holding a press conference to talk about and give out details of their events for today. Of course, we will be there, and we'll keep you posted on what they say. For now, we are live in what is a calm Boulder. I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team meteorologist Keely Chalmers. Let's send it over to Katie. And Katie, I know you have been relentlessly tracking this storm. How's it looking right now?
Keely, good morning to you. Thank you for your reporting in Boulder. She called it is the calm before the storm. We are already seeing some gusty winds. Last recorded wind gust out at Denver International Airport coming in at 32 miles per hour. We are expecting very high winds, as we've been talking about this morning. Hold on to your hats, be prepared for it, and also high profile vehicles. Be prepared for very gusty conditions that could lead to some difficult travel, and also in the mountains, some snow. But with this system, what's a little different than the Marshall Fire back in 2021, a little more precipitation, higher humidity is expected later on today. But regardless, across the foothills, the northern mountains, and here over the metro area, high winds are set to arrive, especially for the late afternoon and tonight. But in the wake of that, the National Weather Service has issued a lot of watches and warnings. A red flag warning set to take effect at 11 o'clock. All of the I-25 corridor, for Colorado, the Denver area, west into the foothills, are higher terrain and wind-prone areas expecting to see extreme winds. Gusts upwards of 85 miles per hour will be possible. That's damaging to trees, power lines, critical fire danger as well. If a fire were to spark, it could spread rapidly, so please avoid any outdoor burning or activities that could spark a fire. Northern mountain snow also set to roll in, some off and on showers for portions of the high country. Could see a little wet weather as well here over the Denver area. Less about the precipitation, more about the wind event for today. Your hourly planner. Today, temperatures in the upper 60s. It is going to be warm for this time of the year. Typically, we see highs in the low 40s, partly cloudy skies. The winds will pick up steam this afternoon, sustained from the southwest, 25 to 30 miles per hour. That is in downtown Denver, and gusts around 45 miles per hour possible. But you can see from our wind gust forecast, strongest conditions from the west-southwest. You can see up over Estes Park, Evergreen, and Golden, over 70 mile per hour wind gusts possible for this afternoon. And then up and down the I-25 corridor, downtown Denver, are right around 8 o'clock tonight, still some very strong gusty winds. We'll talk more about the mountain snow as well that is expected. Cooler temperatures arrive for tomorrow before some mild air returns once again by the end of the week and weekend in your extended forecast. But first, Brianna, how are things on the roads?
Yeah, we've actually issued a traffic impact alert earlier this morning for those heading out the door. This is along C470 and I-70. So Sky9 was giving us a look of this rollover crash. We know one vehicle was involved in this crash. That's according to Colorado State Patrol. So again, if you're heading out the door, this is our closest camera to Alameda Parkway and C470. So as soon as you approach I-70, this is what you're going to see along C470 and I-70. That right shoulder, that right lane partially blocked with crews there on scene, which is why it's causing a nightmare right now for those heading out the door. You can kind of see that CDOT is slowly zooming into that area where we are seeing that police activity. Again, this crash happened earlier this morning around 6:30. We asked CSP to see if it was wind related and they couldn't confirm. Only one vehicle was involved. Again, this is along C470 and I-70 because of a rollover crash. So getting to your drive times real quick if you're heading out the door, I want to zoom into that area. If you're heading out, right now those speed times are clocking in at 14 miles per hour. So we are seeing about less than a mile of a delay for those heading out the door. Again, this should not impact your drive if you're taking I-70. It's really along C470 and Alameda Parkway. Along 6th Avenue, if you're taking 6th Avenue right now, you still have the green light from Golden heading into the Lakewood area and then I-25. Once you approach I-25, of course, that on-ramp, we are seeing a bit of a slowdown. But your overall drive along 6th Avenue, only an 8-minute drive, 64 miles per hour.
All right, thank you. Well, people living in Weld County should once again be receiving emergency alerts after the county's Code Red system went down last month. County leaders tell residents that Crisis 24, which owns the Code Red system, has successfully transferred subscriber data into their platform and can resume sending emergency alerts when requested by local law enforcement agencies. The message comes after Code Red went offline last month over concerns from their IT department. The move forced Weld County to rely on a backup agreement with Larimer County. Despite the announcement, county officials say that they continue to examine options regarding a possible new emergency alert notification system.
The Clear Creek Sheriff's Office in town of Georgetown are entering into a long-term agreement for law enforcement services. Terms of the 5-year agreement include a phased-in patrol presence of up to 3 deputies for a combined 120 hours per week, a patrol supervisor to serve as point of contact for town of Georgetown, criminal investigations and evidence services, public records services, and code enforcement services. For the last year, the Clear Creek Sheriff's Office has been providing law enforcement services for Georgetown through temporary intergovernmental agreements. Those short-term agreements allow time for the town to determine whether to reinstate its police department or contract with the Clear Creek Sheriff's Office long-term, which they ultimately decided to do.
More people experiencing homelessness in Denver are getting access to health and behavioral services and staying engaged longer. That's according to our partners at the Denver Gazette. Data from the Denver Department of Public Health and Environment showed more than 1,000 people received care between early 2024 and late 2025, averaging about 9 service encounters each, including medical, mental health, and substance use treatment. The update comes as Denver moves to performance-based contracts for non-congregate shelters, tying funding to outcomes like bed use, case management, and progress toward housing. Despite housing voucher losses, officials say more people are still exiting shelters into housing than returning to the streets.
Today, Denver International Airport is hosting a community meeting from 6 to 7:30. The meeting will happen at the ELK Education Center in Montbello. Airport officials are asking for community input on proposed energy alternatives to power DIA, including options like solar, geothermal, and even a small nuclear reactor.
Denver Public Schools is facing enrollment losses that go beyond what school closures can fix. The district lost about 1,200 students this fall, costing an estimated $18 million a year. Now, while short-term impacts are softened, officials warn that losses could reach $70 million annually within 4 years. District leaders are now considering changes to school boundaries, something that Denver has not comprehensively done in decades as enrollment continues to decline. Superintendent Alex Marrero is expected to update the board on the district's enrollment tomorrow.